Hi everyone, welcome back to Casual Watch Talk. Well, not much has gone on this week, Chris, so I'm not sure where we're gonna start.
Yeah, I mean we got that Omega thing and Swatch, but other than that, I mean it's gonna be a slow show.
It's gonna be a very slow show.
I think not.
Exactly. Well, we definitely want to talk about Watches and Wonders, but I think we should start a requested story, which we, of course, weren't going to cover until somebody requested it. But
right.
The new Moon Swatch. Well, first off, what do you think of the Moon Swatch?
Moon Swatch. I am in the everyone camp. It is amazing, and I have a couple of points to make.
Yeah,
kind of that I picked up. I was watching some videos of it. Great Jenny Ellie video, by the way.
Yes,
that was.
Fantastic.
I mean, she just went through them. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it was presentation, but my wife was on the couch. We were watching it together, and afterwards she's like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and see if you can pick me up a couple of those too."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh," and she, 80s kid, 90s kid, fondness for Swatch, had a Swatch watch, and like it was funny because it's funny to get her take because it's a plastic $250 watch, right? and like some of the comments where people were like, I don't know about the durability, and like my wife is like, it's a plastic Swatch watch, like it's gonna be fine.
Yep.
So it was really good. I would say my initial reaction was cool. I've got some comments about some of the like different colors, but yeah, super cool. Bring it on. What'd you think?
Totally with you. I think that this was a good release. I really like the watch. I'm all over the Moon one. I'm all over the Mercury one, which is like the taupe. I'm all over that Saturn one. Not crazy about the weird colors, but people are going to love them, and it would have been a disappointment if Swatch hadn't done that. Yeah,
it's funny. I hear for some of the colors. So my number one pick is Mars. I want that super fun
the Alaska
red
project.
Yeah, with the Alaska project subs hands, so cool. And there, I think of them, there's ones where I'm like, yeah, I don't really dig the Saturn, kind of the brown, But then other people are like, holy crap, that's like an amazing color. So they did such a good job to sort of capture, like, of the 11, you are in love with 4 of them.
Yep.
And they're not the same 4 that everyone else is in love with, and that's great. Nailed it. So
yeah, I'm totally with you on this. I definitely have some words to say about how they launched it, but if you got anything else,
I've got. Let's talk about that a little bit, because there is a thing in our society where we think we can manufacture viral videos. Yeah. We think that there's a department down in the bowels of the company, and we just open the door and we're like, "Hey guys, you want to wrestle up a viral video? That'd be great." And it 100% doesn't happen like that. So they were, based on their Instagram comments alone, based on their Instagram posts alone, they were caught off. I mean, they wanted it to be a huge success, absolutely, but they were caught off guard. They were like, "Whoa." Not only did we wake the watch world up, but we woke everybody up with this.
Yeah, there was a little taste of this, and we talked about it on the podcast at the time, that I was pretty livid at the time about when they released the Damien Hirst Swatch watches. So I managed to get one. This was the Mirror Spot Mickey, Damien Hirst, famous British artist, famous for soaring sharks and things like that in half, but he has another artist palette where he does a series of polka dots. Anyway, he made a Mickey Mouse image out of polka dots, very famous. He made this one watch, and then they released the second watch online. They did this like ridiculous online launch where nobody could get it. The system broke. They released it in batches, so they'd messed that up. But boy, I thought that was the biggest mess up they would do when releasing a watch. But I think the way they released this in those select number of stores was a huge marketing mistake. Not only did they put their own staff in danger.
Yeah, I mean, with some of the tussles, I did see that. Yeah,
they basically put their own the people that were queuing it in obviously danger. There was zero reason that they had to make this a store exclusive and then make it exclusive only to a few stores. I mean, there's a Swatch store
right.
10 minutes from me, and I would have had to have drove 4 hours to Miami. Whoever thought of that idea and thought they were clever, this is a little rant from me. I think that was stupid. A stupid move.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard. I feel it's hard to pin them on that, because if they knew somehow, if they had a crystal ball to know that it was going to blow up like this, this was this was how they were going to test it with their select stores, and to see. Now, there isn't a marketing guy listening who doesn't want a line around the block waiting for product, right? Now, you're right. That comes with its own challenges, because then once you have the line around the block, you got to have people prepared to deal with that, etc. So, yeah, I don't think I'm as critical. Because they came back and they said, "Listen, we're only gonna allow 2," and then quickly they were like, "Did we say 2? We meant 1." And then some fumbles with the physical lines. But listen, at this point now, like, there is, like, Swatch company executives, marketing, sales, they know what's up. So
this is the thing with it, and there's other examples where people do this right. So a lot of people commented on Apple. Well, yeah, Apple can predict the hype, and they have enough watches there.
Right.
I'll give another example of a famous plastic-based company, and that is Lego. Where Lego at Christmas, they released the Home Alone house, which looks amazing. I managed to get it from my wife. She's a big Home Alone fan. They knew that was going to be big.
Okay.
So what they did is they're like, oh, you can buy it from store, and hey, if you come in the store, you get a little something extra, a little extra kit or something like that. So it encourages people in the store.
Right.
But they still have it available online.
Yeah.
So what they could have done is they could have said, okay, well, we're going to release these Moon Swatches in these select stores. And if you come, you're going to get a little NASA patch or whatever.
Or some little extra, right?
A little extra thing a little cheeky thing for, oh, thank us for coming into the store. But you can still buy it online.
Right.
What they did is they created this unbelievable frenzy of flippers.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous, and I think it was. I think that it was actually showed very badly on, and maybe it proves what we often talk about on this channel in the fact that 90% of the watch companies out there have zero idea about marketing.
I agree. So I think so some missteps. Now they know. Could they, and has Omega and Swatch done this stuff with with their website? There were some rumors that it was going to immediately go on sale. The concept of a pre-order, like, come on, watch companies. Like,
exactly.
I pre-order games 6 months in advance. I will put my money down for something on Kickstarter that I won't see for a year. And so that's not a future weirdo marketing concept. So come on, watch companies, like, you're online now, and just open up pre-orders. And I to the end, which is, we both know they said 4 times on their Instagram that it was not going to be a limited release. I absolutely loved Federico's comments to all the people that couldn't understand that it wasn't going to be a limited release, and please do not go buy these things for thousands of dollars, because it is not going to be a limited release, full stop. They are going to manufacture these until no one else wants to buy them. Yeah. So okay, we're doing pre-orders. We're not sure when they'll be delivered. They would get 20,000 in a hot minute.
Oh, 100%. And you'd be selling the full cases full of them.
Right.
I mean, they do it with Olympics watches. There was no that. I have some grievances with how they do that. I think the watch is great.
I wanted to also mention, this is funny. So we have been critical, and many people have been critical of Omega's 1 of 100, 1 of 500 limited releases, this color, this metal, this bracelet, celebrating 50th, celebrating Buzz Aldrin, celebrating gold, celebrating the first of this and the second of this and the third, and like it's practically a trope, which is great. Like if you want a Speedmaster, you could get one that no one else has, which is cool in its own way. I was delighted that Swatch took that image of the icon that is the Speedmaster and made a sort of I don't want to say a joke, but like a icon of the icon.
That's a great point.
And I mean, and for two things that they did, the S on the crystal. Are they like trolling us now? I mean, that was like, they didn't have to do that, but it was just a little cheeky, like, oh, you guys get the little Omega on the crystal? Oh, we'll put a little S on the crystal. That'll be fun. And I'm just like, oh my God. and then, all of the, like the way they did the logo, the way they did Moon Swatch. I mean, just great.
Yeah, there's some, I forget who said it now, but it made me smile, which is saying, well, for the people that don't think this is a Speedmaster or question this is a Speedmaster, not only are you getting a watch that's the same size and shape as a Speedmaster, but this is the most accurate Speedmaster that has ever been made.
That's right.
In that
There
case.
you go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Quartz.
Yeah, I heard somebody say, I think it was ID guy that was talking about like, oh, maybe they should have made it a mecha quartz, and I was like, boo. I was like, no, it needs to be the Swatch icon of the Moonwatch, and I mean down to the case, and I mean, perfect, chef's kiss, perfect.
Yeah, and what do you think of this? I actually watched the random Rob video because I wasn't quite sure whether this was a real thing, but did you see him with his Q-tip or another non-brand cotton swab rubbing the blue off the back?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I didn't hear what he like attributed it to. I have a theory, and I'll just say it here, which is so they're ceramic plastic. So it's a ceramic. From what I understand, it's a ceramic powder that's embedded in plastic and then injection molded, and so that's how they can get it like super crisp, that super crisp look, with the twisted lugs and everything. So good. And I think that maybe during that process, if some of that ceramic powder hadn't been solidified, maybe it's just sort of on the watch, and then it just rubs off to where the plastic is solidified. That's just my guess. I'd be interested to see if if it's going to leak blue forever. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's just like a surface, where they're just like, they just printed it and then they didn't like, their process to clean them off is like blow them off with a air gun or something. Is not, listen, this is not going off to COSC certification or anything. It's not being handled by, it's all robot driven. So maybe they have to just put a different, like they got to dunk it or something, or they like after they mold the case, who knows, they got to tumble it or, but yeah, that's my guess. Again, I can't give them too much, no one should be giving them too much guff about that, because what was it, the Apple Watch straps that give you a rash, the Fitbits, the back of the Fitbits that like stain your arm. I mean, this is gonna happen.
A little pair of new blue jeans that you don't sit on a white surface with.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the most interesting story, wasn't it? I think some of the other things that Omega did as well since we spoke last. I mean, I can't remember if we spoke on this on last week's show. I think we did, didn't we? The brightly coloured Aquaterras.
Yes, we did. We did mention that, and
I'm not feeling.
Did you catch Zins in the game too today?
Oh,
posted
that was a
up
miss for me.
I know, right? I posted that up on the on our Discord channel. So if you guys are on Facebook, we have a Discord channel. Sam will put the link in the description. But yeah, I grabbed that from their new releases. They basically took their 3-hand pilot watch, their basic 3-hand pilot watch, and not even with the bracelet, and they did the 4-color, you know, green with the green, yellow, aqua. Let me look. Yep, green, yellow, aqua, and that like orangey red. Everyone's in the game now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we might as well talk about the main event. Today is the first day of Watches and Wonders, and it was a mixed bag. It wasn't actually a mixed bag. There was some amazing watches. Rolex, we'll definitely talk about what Rolex released. But I think certainly in the watch press, there was a lot that was overshadowed by Rolex's releases.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw this, Chris, but I just wanted to spend a quick 5 minutes talking about some of the just spectacular watches that were released.
And actually, before we get too far, I just wanted to mention, did you notice that Watches and Wonders is now like half of Baselworld, where they kind of closed off the back? Did you pick that up? Yeah, basically, I saw a tour where they had, they're like, oh, we're at Watches and Wonders, but which was Baselworld a few years ago. And it looks like, if you remember, Rolex and a bunch of other brands had those like permanent booths that they built in the front of Baselworld. Well, those are still being used, but sort of the back half, like the convention center, has kind of been changed, and it looks like they made it smaller, and they have like big players in there, but it looks like everybody's kind of moved around, and like everyone there is like, don't call it Baselworld, it's Watches and Wonders, and you're like, okay. Well, but also
it's separate though, isn't it? And what Baselworld, the owners went, didn't they? It's a different set of owners.
So it's the same. So what's interesting here is it's the same building, but the entity that was Baselworld is gone, does not exist. And sort of my final comment on that was either just before the pandemic, during the first year of the pandemic. I can't believe there's more than 1 year of the pandemic. We had watch companies basically doing this like power move and saying like, oh, well, we don't need to be a part of Basel. We can just be on our own, and we can just do our own watch releases. And yeah, that's not the case. I saw new releases from everybody this year. So we're all back on the Watches and Wonders train.
Yeah, they were like, we're going to speak directly to our audience and we're going to give them what they want. Yeah, I remember that briefly.
Great for us, because I turned on my YouTube and it was wall-to-wall watch content. So
yeah, absolutely awesome. Yeah,
so
I've been watching so much today. Well, this is one of the things I wanted to point out, was a few of the things that I thought that flew under the radar, but that were pretty amazing. The first was, did you see this? The Grand Seiko constant force mechanism tourbillon watch that they made?
Yeah, I did not. Wow.
It's spectacular. So this is their first grand complication, I think you would call it. But Watchfinder actually had a little video of how this thing works. It's incredible. It's a Grand Seiko tourbillon. I don't think there's a price of it. Of course, it's a limited edition, but it's just exquisite watchmaking.
Yeah, it's I was just at a local jewelry and watch store, Bindi. We had a watch meet there, in Artesia here in California, and they carry Grand Seiko, and they had a couple of Grand Seiko from their other store. And I was looking at sort of the Grand Seiko lineup, and I thought, and if you see it, you're like, the dials are amazing. They've got the movements are amazing, the dials are amazing, the finishing is amazing. But if you look at their offerings, it's like the same bracelet. It's like they're not out of their comfort zone. They're like, it's 3-handers and a GMT. And it's like it's almost basic, right? And I said at the time when I was looking at these pieces, I was like, I'd love for Grand Seiko to just go off and try something wild. And so this is great. This is what they got to do. They got to make stuff like this so that they get confident in kind of coming up with a fresh new design that they know is going to work. That doesn't just kind of look like, I feel, the snowflake dial is great, but it's the snowflake dial on, their polished case. It's kind of the same as all of them. And the bracelets are very bland. So I will ding them for that, but no, this is great. It looks awesome.
And then the second one, which blew me away, it's not often that we talk about Cartier watches, but Cartier made a watch where the entire movement is encased in the rotor. So the entire movement of the watch, and it's suspended between two pieces of sapphire. I'll put a link in the show notes for this because obviously we're on audio only, so it's hard to explain this. But essentially, it's a sapphire, so it's a transparent watch with the rotor, but the entire watch mechanism is within that rotor. Just incredible.
That's wild. Yeah. So you imagine. Yeah. So imagine that that it pivots on basically a pin between the two pieces of sapphire. That's really cool. That's really cool.
There's two brands that we have to talk about. The first, we'll start off with Tudor. I really liked what Tudor did with their Black Bay Pro. First off, I know this is a bit cheeky, but I immediately thought, well, finally, all those people that buy that awful Steinhardt based on the old Rolex Explorer now can buy like a grown-up version of it, because that's essentially what it looks like. And I think they've absolutely knocked this out of the park.
Yeah.
It's quite thick. If you see it from the side, it's quite thick, but I love the design of this. They've got one on that they've got one on that fabric strap, which I don't know why they do that. I think it's definitely the metal bracelet that you have to go for. But what did you think of this one?
I think it's I think you nailed it. I think it's a GMT for the people. For if you want that look, it's Tudor, so they can take, I guess, whatever they want from the Rolex catalog. It's kind of like they get a pass for it, and we're okay with it. I think we're okay with it. They're sister companies, and they can kind of borrow designs, and a lot of their designs, but all this is not Submariner all the way back. I mean, they have Tudor Submariner as a thing, so this is not a unique concept for them. I think it looks great. And super affordable GMT for the people.
I was on I got very kindly invited onto a couple of live streams for the Tea and Tickers live stream, and we were having a bit of a debate on there. Somebody was arguing that the Tudor is the Moon Swatch of Rolex, and we were like, no, that is not true.
That's harsh. That's a little harsh. Yeah, no, I feel like, is it? So is it? It's a Traveler's GMT, so jump hour probably. I would bet, or maybe not. And then 39 mil is not. I think it's a little small for kind of where we're at. We would have figured a 40 or a 41. And you said it was a little hefty. What, like 13 mil thick?
14 mil.
Oh,
yeah, it's 14 mil thick. So I think it's going to wear. I reached out to our Rolex AD friend Justin,
nice,
who now is the Tudor AD, and I said to him, as soon as you get one in, I would love to come and see it. So I want to try it on, and just see it. I'll probably take some shots for the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What did you, speaking of dipping into Rolex's catalogue, what did you think of the root beer, the Black Bay GMT root beer?
It's not my style, but it's someone's style, so that's fine. I mean, it's not my style, but what's interesting is about this one. So remember when these came out, the Pepsi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what, 4 years ago now? I want to say maybe 3 years ago now.
Yeah,
and
maybe it was 4.
Yeah, they were super hard to get, and Tudor put them out, and immediately was like a hit. And it was, I think, more of a hit than maybe the blueberry, the Black Bay blueberry.
Yes.
I think it was more of a hit than that. And this goes to the Swatch conversation, which is people, be patient. Be patient. They're going to make these. They're going to have these around. I was in the store for Tudor the other day. They had 3 of them under glass. 3 GMT Pepsis available to buy under glass. 3 years ago, you could not get a hold of one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, so if you want one of these, just don't, there's no need to run down. I mean, everyone's like, there's inflation. You're like, I know, because you're running down and buying stuff for like 3 times the price. That's why that's happening.
Well, let's go on to the main event. And normally our bread and butter isn't talking about Rolex, but we've got to talk about them, haven't we, for this Watches and Wonders, because this was a roller coaster of emotions for me. And to be honest, the standout watch for me, the one that I want to own, is a Rolex. And we'll get to that in a second, but I think the most controversial one that they released, and we'll just go straight out. They released the Air King, and I've never really looked twice at the Air King, to be honest.
I have an interesting piece about the Air King. All right, so let's talk this. On the Air King, they changed the dial, and this is very interesting. So ID guy on Industrial Design Guy on YouTube, like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, did a how to balance the design dial of the Air King. And if you look at the Air King's dial, the 5 used to just be the number 5, not a 05.
Famous for it.
And it totally looked out of balance. And so now here with this release, they fixed the 05, so the dial is now in balance. So I mean, so congratulations, ID guy, for giving him that idea, because that is just, I mean, it's cool. And so it was a little cheeky thing that I think that is good for that. I think the Air King looks great. I am with you, Sam. I don't know some of these lesser known offerings, the Air King, the Milgauss from Rolex. There is at least 10% of me that feels like they are overshadowed and that they are not given enough recognition, but also based on sales, it always makes me feel like, the people with an Air King or people with a Milgauss, it makes me feel like, oh, that was what was left in the store.
Yeah, I've only ever seen one Air King in the wild, and I think I'm going to butcher this story. Adrian at Bark and Jack was telling it before, that it's not even based on an aircraft, it's based on a race car or something.
Okay.
And I think if I had the date, I'd totally change my mind, because I'm a big sucker for the date on it.
Yeah, no date, right.
Yeah, it's interesting where it kind of fits in, isn't it? Because you've got obviously the Sky Dweller, which is supposed to be the pilot's GMT watch. And I mean, you've got the pilot's GMT watch, the GMT, but the Sky Dweller's got all of that additional functionality in it. And if anybody gets a chance to see a Sky Dweller in person, where the actual fitted bezel is part of the mechanism, just incredible.
I know, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, so I don't know. 10% of me always sort of feels like, if I had that, if I really loved one of those unique ones, I'd have to really love it. That wasn't sort of their mainstay, because I kind of get that feeling like, oh, well, we don't have any GMT masters in the store, but if you want to pick one of the, you know what I mean? Like, we're all out of date justs, but if we got this one right here, and that's a shame, because they're cool watches on their own.
Absolutely. Well, I think the main event here, and the one that I think took most people by surprise, was I think Paul Thorpe and et al. has fallen on this being called the Riddler. I joked on a live stream that
so good.
I joked on a live stream that it should be called Slime Time because of the green slime.
Oh, jeez.
Watch Gringer was, she thinks it should be called the Shrek. And then
there
obviously
you go.
the Sprite came up as well, but technically it's not really
so
Sprite colours, is it?
You have it, Sam. You have the watch is upside down. You gotta turn that around. Your browser's upside down. What's going on
Please
there?
do not adjust your monitors.
I know, right? Oh goodness. So
what do you think the game is here with the left-handed? If anybody's not seen this, it's basically it's not basically. It's the Rolex GMT with a green and black bezel, but a left-handed one.
Yep. I was this was 2 for 2 with Federico. Fed nailed it. 2 for 2. If you haven't seen his video, his response to this was just straight out there. He was like, you guys have to be kidding me. You turned the turned the movement around and like think it's special. And so he roasted him pretty good. So I'm glad he was super direct. I love that he is that way. I feel the same way. They just rotated it around.
Just gonna say, there's something that makes me feel uncomfortable about a movement being upside down, and I don't know whether this is upside down, but there's a Hamilton watch where the movement is upside down in it, and the date is on the wrong side, and just for some reason, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't know why.
Yeah. So I mean, just like from a watch, a guy that mods Seikos, right, and has done 4 o'clock crown. This is just like if you take a 3 o'clock crown and move it to 4:30, or you can move it to the other side. It does not matter. So the movement just rotates, clocks around 180 degrees, and then wherever you put the 12 o'clock hand when you set the time, that's where it's going to be. And you obviously the dial is opposite, is printed in horizontally reversed, so that you have the date window on the left hand side. I mean, they could have easily had the date window on the right hand side. It would look even weirder.
Yeah, a lot of people, that is what's making them feel uncomfortable about this, is the way that the date window is situated on the wrong side. And I'm a big fan of the date, but I thought, honestly, when I saw this morning on Paul Thorpe's live stream, I thought this was an option. It was that there was a normal
I see.
Right round.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like the Pelagos.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So this is them, definitely testing the wheat. I mean, I don't know why they would have to do it. Like, they know people are just going to buy these to collect them. Like instantly, like, hey, let's instantly make it a collector's item. Well, we'll just make it left hand. And then again, like for 10% of the 10, there's only 10% left-handed. So,
and exactly. And I'm glad that if you are left-handed, that there's now an option. Honestly, if they wanted to open, especially the Submariner, if they wanted to open this up for more people to wear it, obviously you're opening up a section of people that are left-handed here. But if they wanted to open these watches up to more people that will wear them, I've met more than a few women who love the look of the Rolex Submariner, but they just can't wear it because it's too big, or you can't take that many links out of it. I used to work with a lady, and she loved her Submariner. She had the Kermit, but it was always hanging off her wrist because it literally couldn't. The oyster, there was no more links to take out.
Right, it was all solid. Yeah, it was solid. Yeah.
So they could have a reduced size version, more of a unisex, smaller size of any of these watches, and that would open it up to even more. Not that you would, you can get one anyway.
Right. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, it would have been a better move. Make a smaller version. And maybe, I mean, have they missed? I mean, that style is still out there, like you said. Women who wear men's sports watches as that's a style. And my brother is left-handed, and much like being tall in a short person's world, being left-handed in a right-handed world is, I mean, he just deals with it. Like, what I mean? He wears his watch on his left hand, and just can control a computer with his right hand. Like, it just gets used to it. So You know, it's not like you're saving. It's not like you're saving someone. You're like, oh, finally, you made me.
I was going to say, well, what's more insulting to making a beautiful left-handed watch that they will never be able to own?
Right. Yeah,
because of all the right-handed flippers that are buying them.
Yeah,
another slight in their life of.
Yeah, it feels like what's it, the Simpsons episode with the left-handed store, you know,
the leftatorium or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it feels like that, where you're just like, are you guys making fun of me? Because that's what it feels like.
Well, I think the absolute standout watch for me, and I'm amazed at how much I just adore this watch, and it is, and I've got to own one. I mean, this is basically this is the one watch challenge.
This is the one watch. There it is.
I'm talking a good game here, because the chances of me actually getting one are quite slim. So I'm talking a good game.
Well,
but
you may get your 2022 one watch challenge in 2024, but okay, I get you.
I am just enamored with this 41mm date just with the green dial. And if I had to have a second pick, or is what they're calling the fluted motif dial,
it looks so
in
sharp.
Blue.
Yeah, it looks good.
I've never been so in love with a Rolex in my life. I don't think just the change of the dial, and I always wanted a date just, and I've always been on the fence because I didn't necessarily. I love blue dial watches, but I wasn't sure if I'd like this in a blue dial, and I always liked the slate grey dial. But then I've always been concerned that at some point, is it going to be hard to separate the silver hands from the grey dial? You know, if I'm just like quickly looking at it, and you never hear anybody. You never hear anybody complaining about the legibility of these, but it was always that little thing in the back of my mind. Either this blue fluted motif dial or this green one, I'm just all over it. I was texting. I was texting people this morning. I might even go into a Rolex store and put my name down for one of these.
All right. Would you do so with the smooth bezel?
Has to be smooth for me.
Has to be smooth. Okay. But the blue with the what's called the fluted blue dial, motif. Which I think looks the motif. Yeah, I think that looks great. I'm surprised. I like that better than the green, but the green sunburst is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't like the green fluted for some reason.
The green fluted looks like the well, if you maybe you'll like it after I describe this. It looks to me like the watermark on the back of $20 bills. It's like they're sort of like that hologram cash, you know, that mark that's on the back of 20s and higher bills. So that green, it definitely, I can't hide money.
Exactly. So I'm gonna put my we'll start the clock now. So I'm gonna put this all my other one watch challenge. All the other watches are out the window now. I can't. They're gone. They're a distant memory. Sorry, Panerai. Sorry.
You got 8 months.
That's true.
So 8 months is, you know, something can happen. You know, you've got clout in the watch industry, right?
Yes, yeah. It's moderately famous
YouTuber. Yeah. Somebody move Sam up on the list, please.
Yes,
just move him up just a couple, like 4 or 5. That's you know, just enough. That's great.
Yeah. I forgot, and there was another big news story that we could probably talk about for the last 5 minutes. But did you know that Timepiece Gentleman have removed all of this is a pivot, but I was thinking of Rolex and the flippers. But Timepiece Gentleman have removed all of their videos. They're separated, Anthony and Marco. Separated and removed all of their videos. So, Chris, we now on our channel have more uploads on the YouTube channel, have more uploads about the Timepiece Gentleman than the Timepiece Gentlemen have about themselves.
All right. It's how the world's going. I mean, that, you know, that reality show burned awful hot. So
it did, yeah. And unfortunately, Anthony got robbed at gunpoint in LA.
Yeah.
of a unspecified number of
Right.
watches. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, perhaps leave that story to other people. But yeah, I think that even though we talked through some spectacular feats of horological mastery with Grand Seiko and Cartier and Ulysse Nardin had some amazing releases. For me, I know I'm like a Rolex fanboy now, which I never thought I would say I was, but for me, the green dial date just or the fluted blue motif was there's just something about it.
So there's your one-two pick. That's great. That's great. And you must and you I mean, it sounds like this is your everyday.
Yeah.
This is so I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna at least try to hold you to it. So it's like 2023 wristwatch check. Of course I have the green date just on. Right?
Yes.
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear week after week. It's April 2023. Sam, what are you wearing? Well, I took it off the Jubilee. Oh, you took what off the Jubilee? The green 41 day just.
Oh yeah, and I think I would go all in with the green. I'd buy that Rubber Bee do the green silicon strap for it as well. I'd lean in. I'd probably lean in on the blue as well. I'll probably do the Rubber Bee blue strap as well.
All right, wow, that's great. It's always nice when you get and for all the releases, it's always nice when your sort of favorite watch brand or a watch brand that you keep an eye on comes out with something that you just love. I know what that feeling is like. It's a great feeling. And then you're like, to go down to the store and be like, I saw this at Basel. I saw this at Watches and Wonders 3 months later, and try it on your wrist. Super cool.
Yeah, and I'm under no illusions. We'll keep abreast of this, but I'm under no illusions that this is going to be possible or even within a certain time frame, because if I'm a non-Rolex fast follower or non-Rolex in general collector, if I am blown away by this, then you can guarantee that a lot of people who are enamored with Rolex are going to also be blown away by this.
Yeah. Well, just get on a list and then make sure you get your wife another Datejust. Ladies Datejust, a couple of those.
Well, there was that beautiful
jewelry.
one.
Yeah.
Did you see that ladies Datejust? Did you see the one with the? I don't know if you spotted this one, but there was a stunning ladies Datejust that they made that has basically different textured blue flowers on the dial.
Oh wow!
In fact, I wonder whether it was a Datejust or whether it was a.
By the way, that purple one with the diamonds around it.
Oh,
my
the
wife
Yachtmaster.
No, the Datejust that has there's a lady Datejust with the diamonds around it, that with a purple dial. Christine tried it on at Bindi and was like, "This is amazing."
Really?
And then they were like, "This costs a lot." So
this one with it's essentially got different flowers on it, and the center of the flowers are diamonds.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's
good
really
job.
cool.
Good job, Rolex. Good job, Rolex.
Yeah, and I think they always do a different style ladies Datejust, don't they? And I think I can't confirm this, but there's always been that rumor, hasn't there, that this is their best selling model is the Datejust ladies.
Oh
Datejust.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's very cool. Awesome. Well, good job, Rolex. Except for the weird left hand upside down watch that you did for collectors, but whatever. Good job.
Well, guys, that was a really interesting episode. We're going over a bit of Watches and Wonder. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about next week. Join us over on the Facebook group to continue the conversation, or join us over on our Discord group. As always, we appreciate you listening. We'll see you next time on Casual Watch Talk. Thanks, guys. Bye.